A person is judged by their character. On a global consciousness level, what we project is what we get. Y'all feel me? If we project negative images about the majority of ourselves, the majority of us will be negative. If we project positive energies about the majority of ourselves, the majority of ourselves will be positive. What do the majority of ourselves look like? What do the majority of African people in the world look like? Do they look like Obama? No. So if we want the majority to act better, based on a better realization of themselves, what do? We exalt someone that looks like what? The majority. That's scientific. We don't get a few light people and say, well, skin don't really matter. You're the minority. And if we're going to have a black nation, who do we need to fight for us? The minority or the majority? So that majority must be exalted for battle for the minority too, right? But we don't have no black army if all is projected as black people being ignorant and just dropping out of school and don't want nothing and this, that, and the other. That's our majority they're talking about. And the minority of us is Obama. Do you see the point that I'm making? But if Obama really wants to get in power as a black man, he's going to need a majority of melanated people to back him versus a majority of white people. Because the majority of white people back the light Negroes. So they don't have black power. They're light-skinned Negroes with white power. Y'all follow me? If we want black power, it must be backed by a majority of what? Black people. And because that is the majority of black people. That's what I'm saying. So if you got to get that majority of black people motivated, what must you do? You must change the idea of that majority of that black people about themselves. And you're not going to do it by putting Obama out there. It's more bleaching cream sold because of Obama. Because that majority is trying to change itself to look like what? The exalted minority. Now, there are perfect shades of brown, of black, perfect caramel, melanated people, of all shades, and all of them are perfect. But when you talk about black nationalism, you better move the majority. You better have a message that will reach the majority. You better have an image that will mobilize the majority. If the majority continue to think less of themselves, then even that minority will never have black power. Do y'all follow what I'm saying? Never. All they can settle for is white privilege. You the fair one, come on in. We'll be fair. You know what I'm saying? That's why they call it fair skin, because they will be dealt with fairly. We'll do you fair. Come on, we'll treat you fairly. You need more than fair. As a black god and goddesses, we can no longer depend on the white man being fair. We got to step in and become the rulers and controllers of our own destiny. That's a fact. Why did Gaddafi become I'm talking about he's an African and they're black nationalists? Because he's smart enough to realize he's in Africa and ain't nothing but melanated people over there. So who gonna fight? Ain't no Arabs gonna back him in Africa. So he said, I'm an African. I'm a Pan-Africanist with Kwame Nkrumah. I'm a black nationalist. And look at him. He looked white to me. Y'all follow? But he's smart enough. You understand what I'm saying? To realize who the majority of people are in Africa. We're not that smart. We're not that smart. If we're going to create an army and create a nation, we're going to have to mobilize the majority, motivate the majority into a complete positive realization of who they are. If we can't do that, we're going to be what? Limited to a minority of what? Light-skinned people. Am I correct? They know who they are. People don't go to this. Light-skinned people know more who they are because they have not been pushed back the same way. They have not been hearing that all their life. That black bitch. Y'all hear me? That's the worst thing you could be called is a black bitch. Am I right? They have not been heard. They have not heard that. So their self-esteem has not been pushed to that level, so they are ready to fight for black supremacy. Because they still have some positive esteem about themselves due to not being that stigma, right, being pushed on them. So that's why the movement is so full of them automatically. You hear me? Because they proud. They stepping in. I'm an African. I know who the hell I am. So we find the majority of black people talking about their Afrocentric being lighter people. Is that right? Strange. So now we must have reverence for our root in our own people. When a tree has no reverence for its roots, it will begin to fall. Either if we're gonna live, follow me with this. We gotta get black. I don't care what nobody says. We just talk about the white man and the sun about to burn his ass up. If we don't get blacker, we can only get lighter. Am I right? So even our root is rooted in what? Our realization of blackness. I'm teaching today. Our race is over with if we don't, even as lighter, you know what I'm saying, Africans, blacks. Where do you think we're going? If we're not going further towards our root. Was black supremacy, was we supposed to become conscious to go get some white women? Some white men? We getting away from our root now. Now the sun got a problem with us too. This is real. This is reality. So we should be focused on our root. We should exalt our root. It is a scientific fact that white people are genetically recessive to black people. They are not going to survive the earth and the ecological changes that are going to happen to this planet. They are not fit to survive. They needed to become vampires to suck up our energy even to survive in America. We had to make cotton to protect their backs. We don't need no cotton. We ran out with no shirt on, right? In the sun. They need a cotton shirt, right? To keep from getting burnt the hell off. So they would not have even been able to survive in nature without utilizing us. They needed us to go out in the sun and bear as the original people of the earth in order for them to survive. They can go outside without them big overseer hats on, am I right? To keep the sun off of them. Because of cancer. We are the original people. But we must be getting more original in our thoughts and more original in our appreciation. Not of a culture, not of a statue, and not of a geography, but of a people. Living people. You understand? Some white people honor black people more than black people honor themselves. Literally, they will go and they know we are the original. They will go and have great reverence for us. Oh, you are a black God. Oh my God, you are the original. Pouring out with reverence. And it is correct. It is auspicious, that type of activity, for them to do that. They should. But we don't have that type of reverence for ourselves. And those white people with true reverence for us are the minority of the white race. They can't save us. While they have reverence for us correctly, they cannot save us. It's not enough for them. It's not until we have reverence for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? But that's hard for us to do. Because we become real ideological. We are into isms and schisms and ideologies, and we look at people the same way, niggers. None of this ideology or this stuff makes us perceive ourselves differently. And we find more reasons to see the negatives in one another versus seeing the positives. And the most negative entity that has ever existed is the white man, and we find it hard to see any of his. Which is why we keep following his laws and going along with his system. Because deep in our subconscious mind, we still see him as positive. But we're quick to see the negatives in the nigger. Talk about, or you go talk about the negatives in the white man's system, people will argue with you. Talk about how the white man is the devil and how evil he is after all of his record. You'll get arguments. We should love everybody. That wasn't all of them. But a black man, how long will it take to begin to find the negatives within that person? To look and see the negative. I had a vision yesterday. My father, very melanated being, so Sudanese black, so black he shined. When he smiled, it looked like his teeth was light bulbs in the daytime. I saw what he went through because, you know, when you're younger, you see everybody's experience is yours. You don't see color and, you know, you don't see the differences when you're younger. Like you go to high school with people, you get older, you find out, oh, that was a Nigerian. I didn't know he was a Nigerian. I thought he was just my classmate. We don't see the distinctions when we're younger. But when we start to get older, we start seeing the distinctions. We become more tribal and see what the differences are versus what the similarities is. And I fare very likened to my father, what he taught me about black history and black nationalism and about who I am. But it never occurred to me that my father's condition was different than mine. Because he had more melanin than I did. He had more of the stigma on him. He was the evil black man. You know what I'm saying? Right off the bat. I never had experienced that. I was not as dark as he was. The Cook County Sheriff coming by the house every day. I'm thinking it's just some other stuff. I'm not putting it within the context of race and melanin and pigmentation and all this. I'm just saying, well, he went through more shit than anybody I've ever met. I probably will never go through more. You feel me? There's no way that I'll probably go through as much as he did. Because of the stigma, how black he was. You follow what I'm saying? That woke me up. And he taught me about black history, but it made me reverence him more. Because when I come to realize it, I realized why he had to know that. And when he taught me that, he made me have a reverence for our real people. Because I'm even more privileged than he is. Gotta be honest. Let's look at it. I'm more privileged than he is. Because I'm not as dark as him. But by him teaching me about his black history, he made me conscious to want to do more for the original. The one that I'm mostly suffering. The one that I'm going through the most. You follow what I'm saying? The one that's getting the brunt of the white man. He made me want to do that for them more. So much. Watch this. So much that I saw myself as blacker. It wasn't until the last 2 years that I realized how black I wasn't. I literally saw myself as him. Because that's the black consciousness that I got. You understand? Because that's the compassion that I had. You follow what I'm saying? Because I took on his mentality, even though I'm not as dark as him. You follow me with this. Just follow my experience. I'm going somewhere with this. That's the compassion that I had. And my children they're lighter than me, but they'll be black. They might be blacker than me. Not because of their heart and where their spirit is and their compassion for all of our people. That's what's going to make them blacker, because they'll have black hearts. And they'll use the position of them even being lighter not to get lost in this American Babylonian fair W.E.B. Du Bois, you know what I'm saying, fair coonism. They won't get lost in that. They will represent the people in Africa as divine, as gods. You see what I'm saying? Which is all of us, which is us who need it most, which is the root of the planet, which is the only genetic survival that we have. For the planet, for all humanity, all human people to survive. If that melanin doesn't survive, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? For the planet. It's over with for humanity. If that melanin don't survive. We ain't got to talk about how we need to help white people and we need to help all people. Everybody on this planet, days is numbered. Everybody on this planet, their days is numbered. So when you talk about saving humanity, you talk about saving those to come.